बुद्धस्तु पाषण्डगणप्रमादात् कल्की कले कालमला प्रपत्तु द्वैपायनो भगवान् अप्रबोधतात् द्वैपायनो भगवान् अप्रबोधात् बुद्धस्तु पाषण्डगणप्रमादात् कल्की कले कालमला प्रपातु
द्वैपायनो भगवान् प्रबोधात् बुद्धस्तु पाषण्डगणप्रमादात् कल्की कले कालमला प्रपातु धर्मावनायोरुकृतावतारः
द्वैपायनो भगवान् प्रबोधात् बुद्धस्तु पाषण्डगणप्रमादात् कल्की कले कालमला प्रपातु
द्वैपायनः Srila Vyasadeva, the giver of all Vedic knowledge, Bhagavan. So, the most powerful incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
The most powerful incarnation of Supreme Personality of God.
Aprabodhat, from ignorance of the Shastra.
From ignorance of Shastra.
Buddhatu, also Lord Buddha. Pashandagana, of atheists, creating disillusionment for innocent persons.
Creating disillusionment for innocent persons.
Pramada, from the madness. Kalki,
Lord Kalki,
the incarnation of Keshava. Kalehe, of this Kali Yuga. Kalamala, from the darkness of this age. Prabhatu, may he protect. Dharma, Avanaya, for the protection of religious principles. Guru, very great. Kritavatarah, who took an incarnation. Asya and purport by His Divine Grace. Translation. May the personality of Godhead in His incarnation as Vyasdev protect me from all kinds of ignorance resulting from the absence of Vedic knowledge. May Lord Buddha Dev protect me from the activities opposed to Vedic principles and from laziness that causes one to madly forget the Vedic principles of knowledge and ritualistic action. May Kalki Dev, the Supreme Personal of Godhead, who appeared as an incarnation to protect religious principles, protect me from the dirt of the age of Kali. Purport. This verse mentions various incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who appear for various purposes. Srila Vyasadeva Mahamuni compiled the Vedic literatures for the benefit of all human society. If one wants to be protected from the reactions of ignorance, even in this age of Kali, one may consult the book left by Srila Vyasadeva, Upanishads, Vedanta Sastra, Brahma Sastra, Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahapurana, Vyasadeva's commentary on the Vedanta, Brahma Sastra, and other 17 Puranas. Only by the mercy of Srila Vyasadeva do we have so many volumes of transcendental knowledge to save us from the clutches of ignorance. As described by Srila Jayadeva Goswami in his Dashavatar Stotra, Lord Buddha apparently decried the Vedic knowledge. Indasya videra shutijatam sadayardaya darshita pashudhatam keshavadhita buddha sharira jaya jagadeesha hare. The mission of Lord Buddha was to save people from the abominable activity of animal killing and to save the poor animals from being unnecessary. When Pashandas were cheating by killing animals on the plea of sacrificing them in Vedic yajnas, the Lord said, if the Vedic injunctions allow animal killing, I do not accept the Vedic principles. Thus he actually saved people who acted according to Vedic principles. One should therefore surrender to Lord Buddha so that he can help one avoid misusing the injunction of the Vedas. The Kalki Avatar is the fierce incarnation of who vanquishes the class of the atheists born in this age of Kali. Now, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, many irreligious principles are in effect, and as Kali Yuga advances, many pseudo religious principles are in effect, and as Kali Yuga advances, many pseudo religious principles will certainly be introduced, and people will forget the real religious principles initiated by Lord Krishna before the beginning of Kali Yuga, namely principles of surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Unfortunately, because of the Kali Yuga, foolish people do not surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna. Even most people claim to belong to the Vedic system of religion are actually opposed to Vedic principles. Every day they manufacture a new type of dharma on the plea that whatever one manufactures is also a path of liberation. Atheists men generally say, Yata mat tata tata. According to this view, there are hundreds and thousands of different opinions in human society, and each opinion is of valid religious principle. This philosophy of rascals has killed the religious principles mentioned in the Vedas, and such philosophies will become increasingly influential as Kali Yuga progresses. In the last stage of Kali Yuga, Kalki, the fierce incarnation of Krishna, will descend to kill all the atheists and will save only the devotees of the Lord. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन
तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः।
श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले
स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुक्तपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने।
नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे
निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे।
नमो महावदन्याय
कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरतिष्ठे नमः।
हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु
दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता
काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते प्रणमामि निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रसुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे
So we are ready from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 8, Text number 19. May the personality of Godhead in His incarnation as Vyasa may protect me from all kinds of evils resulting from the absence of Vedic knowledge. May Lord Buddhadev protect me from activities opposed to Vedic principles and from laziness that causes one to act to madly forget the Vedic principles of knowledge and ritualistic action. May Kalkidev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as an incarnation to protect religious principles, protect me from the age of Kali. So these different incarnations are mentioned here. Buddha, Vyasadeva, Buddha and Kali. Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita that those who act disregarding the Vedic principles, they never attain happiness either in this life or in next life. यह शास्त्र विधि उत्सृज्यम वर्तते काम कारता न सिद्धिं अवाप्नोति न सुखं परामोति. Shastra Vidhi Utsurjam, right? Giving of the Shastra Vidhis, disregarding the Vedic literatures. Vedas are the words of God, Krishna. They are coming from the breath of Lord Narayana. 6 times I mentioned that in the beginning. Vedo Narayana Sakshat. In the beginning of 6 times, Yamuna speaks. Yamuna Uchu 6.1.40. Veda pranihito dharmo ya adharmastat vipareya Vedo Narayana Sakshat Swayambhu iti Shishru. Shishru means, iti Shishru means we have heard it. From whom? From Yamaraj, who is a Mahadev. That what is we have heard? Vedaha praniti pranihito dharma. Yamuta's replied, that which is prescribed in the Vedas constitute dharma, the religious principles. And the opposite of that is illusion. The Vedas are directly the Supreme Personal Godhead Narayana and are self-born. Swayambhu. This we have heard from Yamaraj. Iti Shushru. So that which is born from the Lord, like Lord Brahma is also called Swayambhu. That means he has no material father, origin. Origin directly Supreme Lord. That's why it's called Swayambhu. First born living being in this world. Directly from the navel of the Lord. So similarly this Vedas are also called Swayambhu. That means it is not man-made. Man-made means in human beings, mortal, one who has defects, 4 defects they are made. Vedas are called Apaurushya. Apaurushya means not any mortal beings they have made. It is coming from the Lord directly. Vedo Narayana Sakshat. Sakshat Narayana. They are coming from the Narayana directly. Sri Madhvacharya says this that Vedanam Prathamo Vakta Hari Eva Yato Vihu Ato Vishnu Atmaka Veda Iti Ahur Vedavadina. The transcendental words of the Vedas emanated from the mouth of the Supreme Personal Godhead. Therefore, the Vedic principles should be understood to be the Vaishnava principles, because Vishnu is the origin of the Vedas. The Vedas contain nothing besides the instructions of Vishnu. And one who follows the Vedic principle is Vaishnava. The Vaishnava is not a member of manufactured community of this material world. A Vaishnava is a real knower of the Vedas as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Vedeshi sarve aham Veda. Sometimes people just want to rubber stamp themselves that I am ISKCON because I have got life membership card or I have got some connection. I am working in ISKCON. But to Prabhupada is saying here that Vaishnava is not a member of some manufactured community. If Prabhupada has mentioned this society as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So one who is becoming Krishna conscious, one who is practicing Krishna consciousness as given by Srila Prabhupada or as given by the Vedic literatures. So then he can be actually the member of the Society of Krishna Consciousness. Not simply by some official connection. One has to follow the instructions or the word by the society has been started to become Krishna conscious, become the actual devotee of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada has given the sadhana practice. You have to follow his directions. So those who follow the Vedas, they are the words of God, Supreme Lord, and they are considered as mother. Just like the mother indicates the father. So similarly, Vedas also connects one to the Supreme Father, Krishna. The purpose of the Vedas is to connect one to the Supreme Father. Vedeshu sarve aham eva vedyam. Krishna clearly says in the Vedas that the purpose of the Vedas is to know Him. It is also very important that somebody is studying Vedas on his own. He may get lost in the Vedic literatures because Vedas give a lot of other information also of this world in order to uplift the consciousness of people who are very, very materially hands-on. They are averse to take to devotional service. So such people who are interested in material enjoyment, for them also Vedas give a lot of procedures how to enjoy in this world by following the system of Krishna. There are universal administrators of Vedas. By cooperating with the administrators of the universe, the demigods, how one can enjoy in this world. Material pleasures, good birth, lot of wealth, good health, big positions. All these things can be obtained by following the direction of the Vedas. That's called Karma Kanda, first section of the Vedas. That is spoken for the people who are interested in material enjoyment. And slowly, as they become followers of the Vedas, they get faith in the Vedas, they may understand the actual purpose of the Vedas. Actual purpose of the Vedas is to help people to know Krishna. But unfortunately, they are not approaching the proper spiritual master. Then they get lost into the lowly language of the Vedas, Veda Vadantas. Or they get stuck up into the only Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. Certainly, those people who follow the Vedas are better than the people who reject the Vedas, even though they are caught up into the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. So there is some hope in their lives. So they are better than the people who are acting against the Vedic principles and rejecting the Vedas. And there are categories of the people who are misusing the Vedas. Misuse of the Vedas was happening at the beginning of Kali Yuga, when Lord Buddha appeared before. Now also it's happening. But that time it was very rampant. People were killing animals like anything. And when the Buddha appeared, the incarnation of Krishna, he questioned them, why you are killing so many animals? He was feeling very sympathetic to the animals. People told, because the Vedas talk about it. So Vedic literatures, these Karma Kandi sections, they talk about various sacrifices to various demigods. And those in those sacrifices, testimony of the sacrifice, animal slaughter is there. That animal slaughtering is to taste the Vedas or the success of that sacrifice. It is not for the eating an animal is killed. Usually an animal is old animal and he is given next birth as heavenly birth. Just like in the battlefield somebody dies while fighting for the religious cause. Then such a person is promoted to the heaven. So similarly, some animal is sacrificed on the sacrificial altar, is yajna, then that animal gets heavenly destination. By the power of the Brahmanas who are performing yajna, their mantra chant, then that yajna is considered successful. Otherwise, the Brahmanas get the sin of killing an animal. But unfortunately, what happened was Kali Yuga people did was that they started killing animals to eat. And then some process they have to perform. Vedic process. There is some yajna. And the purpose of the yajna was not to please a demigod, but to kill the animal eat. And perform some fire sacrifice, little bit fire we put. And then they have justified. Justification is the Vedas talk about this. We are not doing on our own. Forgetting the actual process purpose of this. And many times in the villages there is some annual festival there, and then there is a Gramya Devata is there. People will say, oh, the Gramya Devata, there's animal has to be sacrificed to please that Gramya. Usually that is some form of Durga. In many villages in Maharashtra and Bengal, all these places are everywhere. And what they say is that this animal sacrifice is for the pleasure of that particular goddess. God. Again, this is also compost. It is not that for the pleasure. It is the people want to eat. For them, it is said that they can sacrifice this animal to that particular deity, Kali. And that is also once in a month at all I want to eat. Not every day. This is once in a month on Amavasya day, the animal has to be sacrificed in front of this Kali. Because, not because Kali wants it. Kali is a Vaishnava. She is the official in charge for it. Somebody wants to eat meat, then he has to take permission. I want to eat this meat, this sanction. And I take responsibility. And I am killing this animal. Next life, I will make it. Mamsa. Mam means me. Sam is the same. You can do the same thing to me. He has to chant in the ear of the goat. Animal is generally low animal. Not like cow. The lower animal like goat sacrifice. And then one is allowed to eat meat. It's not Kali wants it, he wants it. Person wants it. But then later on people forgot this once in a month. They started doing every day. And then they started opening slaughterhouses. Some somebody wants to do that, he has to go outside the village in the dark, outside day, and do it with proper procedure, mantra and all these things. Now people started doing every day. Now they opened a slaughterhouse, which is not spoken in the scriptures anymore. Slaughterhouses every day, thousands of animals started killing, and they started putting this Kali's photo. This versus in Bengal, in Calcutta. In some slaughterhouses they put Kali's photo. And then the person will think, oh, this slaughterhouse is better because the Kali's photo is better. Then the others slaughterhouse there is no Kali's photo. So this is Kali's Prasad, Kali Prasad. Not Kali Prasad, it is Bhut Prasad. Because Kali doesn't need the meat, she gives that to the host. That also they perform the proper authorized way, not like this slaughterhouse. The slaughterhouse is completely sinful. But even if somebody is following the proper process on Amavasya day, that prasad, Kali doesn't accept. She gives her to her associates who are the Bhutas and Pretas and people like that. So that's their remnant. So by following the process, slowly one may make advancement. That is what is expected. Because once in a month, regulations is to practice. Regulations will help one to slowly realize by following the direction of the Vedas. Not by the way the people did was creating slaughterhouses in the name of Vedic directions, misusing the Vedas. So when the Buddha came, he saw people are misusing the Vedas. So he said, if you are saying Vedas are saying like this, I don't believe in Vedas. Because he saw people are not going to listen. They were so degraded. Then he had to reject the Vedas. That's like a small child is taking a knife and he wants to cut something. But instead of cutting something, he is harming his own. He doesn't know how to cut something. Knife is very sharp. So then the mother may sometimes take out the knife because the child may harm himself with the knife. Similarly, Buddha, he saw people are harming themselves in the name of Vedas. They were misusing the Vedas. And Hitler also wanted to study the Vedas. Why? He wanted to create Brahmastra. That was his plan. He can create Brahmastra. This one. So, the Buddha's incarnation, it said, I don't accept Vedas. That means he took away the Vedas. Just like taking in the night. And those who followed the Buddhas, they did not accept the Vedas. And then what he taught them? Ahimsa Paramadharma. Ahimsa Paramadharma. No Himsa. That is actually Dharma. Opposite. Paramadharma. So he saved those people from misusing the Vedas and killing animals and thus suffering in the future. But in the process he took away the Vedas, or rather he Nindasi Yagya Videha Aha Shutijata. Nindasi, he criticized these procedures of sacrificing animals because they were misusing. And then he told the same thing what Vedas are saying, that don't kill. That's actually best of it. One should not harm anybody. But those who are unable to stop it, for them it is safe. Okay, you can kill like this with responsibility. And you have to suffer in the future. Chant some mantras and say it that I am killing. I'll also be killed in the future. By this chanting mantras and following some process and regulations, slowly the person may be awake. Oh, why should I do this and suffer like this in my life? Let me give it up. So this, the teachings of Veda Buddha gave, but because he rejected the Vedas, that's why the Vaishnavas do not accept Buddha's teachings. We accept Buddha and the incarnation, but we don't accept his teachings. Vedana mani Buddha is Nastik. Somebody is not accepting Vedas, is called Nastik. Nastik and Nastik. One who accepts the Vedas, one who accepts the Lord. Whenever Buddha was asked about God, he just smiled. He didn't say anything. He didn't speak about God. But because he is the incarnation of God, people who followed him, and that's why he was saved. But unfortunately, again, after Buddha's disappearance, again, most of the Buddhists, they eat meat. Even the monks also eat. And if you ask them why you are eating, they say, we are not killing, somebody else is killing. Anyway, that will be lost, that will be. They already killed, somebody has to eat, they are eating it. And they will be wasted. That is the person. We don't kill, we follow Buddha. But somebody is killing, he also has to survive his. उनका भी पेट भरना चाहिए. So I have a compassion on them. So how the mind tricks the person. Will you all just take patience? We are not doing it for ourselves, we are doing it for others. And actually Buddha has told the ahimsa, paramata, but don't kill. They say we follow it, we don't kill. So somebody is killing, what to do? Just like Christians also, Prabhupada went to America. He said, we have our own religion, why you are coming here? But I have not come to convert you here. I have come to tell you what Jesus Christ told you, not follow. Jesus told that thou shalt not kill. And why are you killing? Only Christianity name, you say Christian, I am Christian. But then, I am not following Christ. What kind of Christian are you? Christ told, thou shalt not kill. Then you change it, thou shalt not murder. Murder, thou shalt not murder. Actually, Jesus wanted to say that thou shalt not murder. So that they changed the commandment. Because murder means human beings and killing means animals. So they said, actually, Jesus wanted to say that thou shalt not kill human beings. From killing, they changed it to murder. Thou shalt not murder. So, Prabhupada said that Jesus told now thou shalt not kill any animals. And they give some things. Jesus ate sometimes some fish, which is again a controversial subject matter. Even if he has eaten sometimes, but he has never said that you should not eat. Even if he has sometimes eaten in some very, very awkward situations. Some people say he ate the bread, which was a ship as a fish. And they made a whole issue that he ate the fish. Jesus was a devotee of the Lord. So his teaching, they are not following what kind of Christians are. Prabhupada said, we are better Christians. We are following it. So, Kali Yuga people has this tendency, always they want to escape from the right teachings. They will modify, alter things and do something else. So even people who are accepting Veda, they can misuse it. What to speak of the people who don't accept the Vedas? What is their hope? As when Krishna said, don't accept the Vedic literatures. They cannot attain happiness in this life or next life. Your Shastra Vidhi Mustujam Vartate Kama Kamita. They act only based on their lusty desires. And basically that they are regarded as like animals. human beings who are not accepting Vedic literature's teachings, they are categorized as animals. So there is the lowest grade human beings who are animalistic. And when they start following the Vedic teachings, then they are considered the human beings. Dharma hitesho adhiko vishesha. Dharma is known in the Vedas. And when they start following the Vedas, then they are called human beings. Dharmene hina pashubir sama. Ahar nidra bhayavaitunam cha samanya vetat pashubir nara. Eating, meeting, sleeping, defending. These four activities are common to human beings and animals. Those who are not following dharma, dharma hitesho adhiko vishesha, they are as good as animals. So therefore, the lowest category people is animalistic. When they start following the Veda, they are called karmakandi people. That's the first beginning of human being. So karma kanda, and then after some time, a person advances and he becomes karma yogi. Karma kanda, then karma yoga, then jnana yoga, then dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, and then we become bhakti yoga. Level of God. So there is a gradual advancement. The Vedas take a person from the karma kanda, karma yoga, jnana yoga, and then ultimately bring him to the bhakti yoga, which is the perfection of human life, being pure, being Nirmala. So it's a gradual process given in the Vedas, which take many lifetimes also. Maximum portion of the Vedas is karma kanda section. 99% karma kanda, because maximum people are interested only in material activities. So they teach how to perform, how to enjoy this material world by following the system made by the God. Cooperation with the demigods, and then with the cooperation to do some sacrifices, they will give favors to you. And that's how they get. That is karma kanda section. Karma yoga means then thinking beyond this material world. Yoga means in connection with the supreme. The karma kanda means there is no conception of supreme. It's only within this material world. They may worship demigods. They may also believe next life. But there is no conception of going beyond this material world. They just want to go to heaven. Krishna says that they think that that's the goal of life. Go to the heaven, enjoy the apsaras or beautiful men or somarasa, nice palaces, gardens, and powers to manage the universal affairs, and live a very long life there. And when your piety get over, then you will fall down. Tetan bhuktva svargalokam vishalam kshine punyam martalokam vishan. Krishna speaks in 9th chapter. People who are absorbed in the flower language of the Vedas, they will believe next life also. But what is their understanding is that go, next life you go to heaven, enjoy their nice heavenly life, long life, 36,000 years more. And then when punya gets over, they fall down. And thus these people only attain ultimately cycle of birth and death. Gatagatam, kama kama lavante. Kama kama, because of their lusty desires to enjoy. So they ultimately only get cycle of birth and death. But they are okay with that. They think that there is nothing beyond this. Nanyat vadini asti. That they think that this is ultimate. There is nothing beyond this. Go enjoy, come back again, perform again piety, again you go, again enjoy. Just like in today's world, people don't believe next life or previous life. They don't believe heavens. What is work hard in companies, 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours, earn money, go to some hill stations, and go to some Switzerland, New Zealand, Hawaii, enjoy life there. And after enjoyment, again come back, again work hard, again earn money, again go for enjoyment. So the Vedic follower also the same things. The difference is that he believe next life. Kali-yuga people don't believe. So how they are able to enjoy this present life? Because of the previous piety they have followed. They are unnecessarily working hard in this life to earn money. And then they go for enjoyment. But what the danger is that their piety is getting exhausted. In heaven, their piety gets exhausted, they fall down from there. And this Kali-yuga people's piety in this planet, right, they are exhausting and performing sinful activity on the other side. The danger of this what? Even if one is pious, he is enjoying the material pleasure. What happens is that one becomes addicted to material pleasures. And when piety gets over, you cannot enjoy material pleasures. But the hankering is there. And because of that hankering, then one follows wrong means to enjoy. Sins. Sinful way one not to enjoy because hankering is there. Piety is over. Just like somebody has money, he enjoys, but the money gets over. Still he wants to enjoy. Then he adopts bribe taking or some other ways, stealing, borrowing, and that's how a person becomes sinful activity. So any pious man cannot remain only pious, he always also performs impious. That's how this world is. Because of the uncontrolled mind and senses, person perform pious and impious activities also. To find a completely only pious person in this world is very difficult. Some piety, some sin, mixture of this will be always there. So therefore, suffering, enjoyment goes on until it is. One who understands the life beyond this, why should I go on this so-called piety and so-called impious activities, sukha and dukha? Why not work for the eternal happiness by purifying my mind completely from its lust and envy and greed? Pious person also has greed or envy or lust and both. The heart is not clean. It may be less than other people, but that is there. You can see demigods also become envious of each other. They also have their little fights. But then you can see in Bhagavad many examples. Pashta was one demigod became envious of Indra. Then he had one son to kill Indra. Both were demigods. Pashta is demigod, Indra is demigod. Indra killed his son and he wanted to kill Indra. This goes on, this kind of thing among demigods also. So here it is said that Veda Vyas and also Buddha, they protect, and third incarnation was Kalki. Kalki will be vanquishing the people who are completely going against the Vedic literatures. Dharma is actually not manufactured by Narayana, as stated in the Vedas. Ayam Mahato Bhutasya. The injunction of Dharma emanates from the breathing of Narayana. Asya Mahato Bhutasya Nishva Sitam Etat Yad Rigvedaha Iti. The injunction of the Dharma emanates from the breathing of Narayana, the Supreme Living Entity. Narayana exists eternally and breathes eternally, and therefore Dharma, the injunctions of the Narayana, also exist eternally. And then Prabhupada saying that it's eternally, this is there. Just like there is always sugar is sweet, eternally. Salt is salty, that's Dharma. Similarly, Narayana is breathing, and his breathing is actually Dharma. So it is not here manufactured at a certain time, and it will finish at a certain time. So it is eternal. Dharma is also eternal. That means dharma is that law code which you cannot change. It is eternally there. One has to learn to follow. These principles, Vedic principles, are eternal principles. Not that 5,000 years back Krishna spoke with at that time it was applicable. Now it's not applicable. Dharma is applicable all times. These principles. But then one has to understand what actually dharma is. Not which dharma means Hindu dharma, Christian dharma, or Islamic dharma. If that dharma is in line with the actual dharma, then we can accept it. Simply by saying that I am Hindu, first of all, this Hindu has been coined by me. It's not in the Vedas. It is people who are the other side of the Hindus used to call this kind of Hindu. On the other side of the Sindhu, they would call Hindu. Actual dharma, what is given in the Vedas is Sanatana dharma. Sanatana means it has no end, beginning and end. That is called actual dharma. And nowadays Sanatana dharma also they say Hindu dharma. But Sanatana dharma means that is which is given in the Vedas. Because those who are called Sanatanis, they have to study Vedas properly under the proper guidance. And learn what actual dharma is. Actual dharma is ultimately love God. And those who are lovers of God, they cannot become envious of anybody. The so-called Hindu dharma propagators, you will find sometimes they have assembly and they distribute biryani, meat. If you are saying that I am a follower of dharma properly, then you have to follow it. I am saying that I am a follower of Lord Ram. So then there is a controversy, Lord Ram ate meat. So there are again trying to twist Ramayana. There are words in Ramayana which looks like Lord Ram ate meat. So there are some conversations. But if you go back to the total Ramayana things, you can understand there is no question of Lord Ram eating meat. So like sometimes we have this, some subjects names, lady's finger. So like that words are there in Ramayana which looks like they are Lord Ram has eaten meat. So now we have changed this okra. Lady's finger is not much used, but after 6,000 years ahead, you read, people were eating ladies' fingers. So they have taken words like that and twisting the meaning that Lord Ram ate meat. And one devotee has written an article where they say that actually all those things mentioned in Ramayana which look like some animal names, they are not animals. In the Ayurveda they are actually the plants names. Sometimes there are plants named like that, looks like animal names. An example, eggplant. Eggplant also. Eggplant. Or sometimes some language has some particular names. Like in Maharashtra, the jhinga means fish. And in the Bengal, jhinga means turai. Sorry. When I came to Bengal, and when I learned that the jhinga is actually sabji. So when I went to Maharashtra back and when I was saying jhinga postu sabji, jhinga postu, some people say jhinga postu. Fish you are eating. So depending on language also, sasa. Sasa in Maharashtra means the rabbit. And in Bengal, sasa means the kira, cucumber, sasa. Sasa here, their meanings are different. So you cannot just pull out the words from the scripture and make your own interpretations. You have to go to the Guru. So these people want to eat meat, so they want to say Lord Ram ate meat. And they are twisting the meaning of the scriptures. one has to hear from the acharyas, from the great Vaishnavas, not simply by learning Sanskrit to understand Dharma. Krishna never said in Bhagavad Gita, you can understand Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, you go and learn Sanskrit. Or anybody who learns Sanskrit, he understands Gita. Anybody Krishna says like that? Never. Krishna says, one who is a devotee can understand Bhagavad Gita. And one has to hear Bhagavad Gita from a devotee. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshya vidu. You hear from the Guru, tat vidhi pranipatena pariprishna sevaya. You cannot just learn Sanskrit and read the Vedas. One will never understand. Rather, you must misunderstand and misuse it. Misusing happens because a person has ulterior motives and he doesn't approach a proper spiritual master. Then he will misuse the Vedas. Lord Ramchandra killed that person who was studying the Vedas without approaching the Guru. And there is another controversy. Lord Ramchandra killed some Shudra. Shudra is not by birth. Shudra is one who is not trained in Gurukul under Guru's direction. Lord Ramchandra ate Shabri's jute bear. And Shabri was less than Shudra. She was Bhilli. Then he also was a good friend of Maharaj Guha, who was Nishada. Shabri was Bhilli. And what loving exchanges they had in Ramayana. What is his name? Guha, Maharaj Guha and Lord Ram. Guha was such a lover of Lord Ram. He was a devotee. So they only pinpoint one thing. Oh, Lord Ramchandra killed this person. Why he killed him? Because he was misusing the Vedas. Because he was studying the Vedas without going to the Guru, and he was doing something, and they were all inauspicious signs were seen because of his misuse of the Vedas. And therefore, Lord Ramchandra went and stopped him. He was not listening to him. So the demons who are killed by Lord Ram are always, they get benefited certainly. So Lord's killing everything is the same. But if somebody is misusing the Vedic literatures, so then that dilutes the people. That's what the Lord's concern is. People who are misusing the Vedas, propagating the false teachings. So they not only they are they themselves are what do you call it, in troubles, but they put other people also in trouble. They create illusion, and that's why the Lord becomes angry if somebody is disturbing other people. If one is doing something wrong is one thing, but if he is propagating the wrong things, so that will create disturbance for others. So here it said that may Vyasadeva protect me from all kinds of ignorance resulting from the absence of the Vedic knowledge. And may Buddhadeva protect me from the activities opposed to the Vedic principles. Somewhere it's mentioned, creates illusion. Prabhupada mentioned before, last part. Even most people who claim to belong to the Vedic system of religion are actually opposed to the Vedic principles. Every day they manufacture new type of dharma on the plea that whatever one manufactures is also part of the liberation. So ये तो मत तो मत. Looks very nice, his teaching, but this is opposite to the Vedas. According to this view, there are hundreds and thousands of different opinions in human society, and each opinion is called a Vedic religious principle. This philosophy of rascals has killed the religious principles mentioned in the Vedas. So sometimes they may claim that we are talking from the Vedas, but then they completely distort the meanings of the Vedas. Just like Prabhupada gives example of Dr. Radhakrishna also. Commenting on Bhagavad Gita, but it is saying, actually you don't have to surrender to Krishna. He is writing the commentary on the verse when Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam. Take shelter of it. He writes a translation correctly, but his explanation is, actually you don't have to surrender to Krishna. And he is creating illusion, destroying the people's faith in Bhagavad Gita or in Krishna's teachings. So the Prabhupada would become very angry. He said, if you want to write, you write your own Gita. Don't distort the meanings of the very religions. It is very harmful. If he has to write his own thoughts, he writes his own book. Why he has to get Krishna's book and then put his distorted thought in the name of Krishna and confuse people? Sometimes Prabhupada is very strong with such people. It looks very strong, but actually they are misguiding so many hundreds and thousands of people. Human life is made for getting out of all illusion. They are creating more illusion by such philosophies. Already Kali Yuga people are less intelligent, and these so-called leaders, they come and propagate such false theories. You can do anything and you are alright. You can eat meat, you can do all kinds of things, and still you can be religious. And so many people will follow suit. So these people, in the garb of sadhu saints, they propagate the wrong things. And that's why Srila Prabhupada is very strong. If one wants to actually understand the Vedas, then he has to approach a bona fide person. And Krishna clearly says that a bona fide person means he should coming in at same disciples system coming from himself. Imam Yuvasvate Yogam Bhoktavana. I give this knowledge to Yuvasvate, that's how it's coming down. Evam Parampara Praptam Puratish. One who is fallen into this material world, how can he understand on his own? He needs a shelter, help of Krishna or his representatives. Then only one can understand things by their mercy. No matter how much a person is intelligent, without approaching the bona fide spiritual master, one cannot understand spiritual subject matters. Bhakti Sanjayate Bhakta. Only by approaching the Bhakta, you can understand what Bhakti is. Tatviti Pranipatena, Parikrishna the Savior. By approaching the spiritual master, surrendering him, serving his service spirit, then one can understand. Upatteshri Jnana Tattvadarshana. So if one is simple and sincere, then one can understand everything. But one is complex in mind, proud, speculative, then there is nothing. If one is humble, very simple, the Vedas are very straightforward, clear. But one who is complicated in the mind, proud, speculative, then he unnecessarily twisting the simple teachings of Jesus. That's why Prabhupada gave this Bhagavad Gita as it is. Krishna is saying that you can understand Bhagavad Gita only when you become my devotee. Prabhupada is saying, become my devotee, Krishna is saying. These people will remove all this They say this is not for us, this is for Arjuna. You become a devotee. That's how they will twist it. They will not simply straightforward way Krishna give Krishna's message. They try to cover the message by their interpretations. And those interpretations are out of envy. They are envious of God. They want to cover the Lord's message, actual message. So we should pray that in Kali Yuga such kind of people are there. We are saved from such people. And therefore we need to take shelter of Vyasa and his investigations. We are fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has given us this Vedic literatures, this very essence of Vedic Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam also coming from this Mayavadi's mouth has been creating havoc. All these professional Bhagavatkas also simply misleading the people in the name of Bhagavatam. They will not speak actual message of Bhagavatam. They will take some stories from Bhagavad and simply entertain people and earn money from it professionally. Have nice entertainment of the people and get a lot of money. And they will speak in a very, very attractive way to mesmerize people's minds. And then transformation, no question of transforming their hearts. Because they themselves are not following Bhagavad in their life. How can they change the hearts of the people? Same thing, they will also cover the actual message of Bhagavad. But then, as this kind of people are there, Krishna also has his representatives for those verses. You should approach such representatives and learn actual message. And when we become free from this complexity of mind, we find that Krishna consciousness is also very simple. It's not complicated. You see, Krishna's most powerful way to transform the hearts in Kali Yuga is Harinam. So simple. Only 3 words. There is no need to have any great scholarship to remember this mantra. Hare Krishna. This is the most powerful. It will remove all the misconceptions, all the impurities of the heart. And there is no other thing in the Veda is as powerful as this. And how simple it is. Not at all complicated. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare.
The problem is that our minds have become so complex. When we chant this mantra, our mind thinks, oh, this is very boring. There has to be some titillating into the mind, some complex Sanskrit shlokas. Somebody is quoting, then we will, oh, this is very great. He knows so many shlokas. Mantra is most powerful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, Guru Mora Murkhane ki karile shastra. My Guru told that you are foolish person, you don't have Adhikar to study the Vedas. You just chant holy name, which is the essence of all the Vedas. And Mahaprabhu did transform the hearts of all the people. This by this Harinam. What we need to know is that Krishna is there and we are his servants. If one is convinced about these 2 facts, he need not be a great scholar of the Vedas. He knows the essence of the Vedas. He is convinced of it. Krishna is the Supreme. Because we are not having faith in all these other Vedic literatures are there to develop the faith by understanding. But actually one who has got pure heart, he doesn't need all those books also. Because Krishna in the heart reveals himself. That's why Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur's Guru, Professor Bhagavad Maharaj, he was illiterate. But he was pure hearted. So he knew the essence of all the Vedic literatures. He was convinced Krishna is Supreme. And when your heart is pure, Krishna will reveal himself. Krishna is source of all knowledge. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Satta Sadaiva Hridayeshu. One can see Krishna 24 hours. Even if one is not very intelligent, but his heart, not pure heart, he is in touch with Krishna, who knows everything. So that's how the Krishna devotee is very intelligent. Because Krishna gives him the right direction. Vadami buddhi yogam tam in mam prayanti. Even if one is not very intelligent, but he follows Guru, like a South Indian Brahman who was studying Bhagavad Gita, he was not literate. He was not knowing Sanskrit at all. But because he was faithful disciple of his Guru, he got the essence. He could identify Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as God also. He was relishing Bhagavad Gita in his heart so much. Because Krishna reciprocated with such pure hearted soul. So one should not be after this scholarship, mundane scholarship or Sanskrit scholarship. If one has that intelligence, okay, we can use it. But if one is not humble, approaching the Guru, then one can be misled by this more intelligence also. So whether one is intelligent or not intelligent, if one is following the direction of spiritual master, then by his mercy, the mercy of Krishna, one's heart is purified, then one can experience Krishna every moment of his life. And whatever knowledge is required for him to get out of this material world, Krishna will give. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yen mam prayanti. So one should not be after knowing this information, but one should be after transforming the heart. The Bhakti Thakur said that to transform the adverse desires of the conditioned soul is the most important activity of the most beneficent business. That's the most important. Transform the heart of the person. Adverse desires, we have got wrong desires and wrong ideas. So remove those things. And therefore Krishna appears in the Kali Yuga as holy name. If someone has that innocent faith, to chant holy name of the Lord with enthusiasm, then one can attain all the purpose. Yahayate sarva siddhi. Mahaprabhu said that just by chanting one can attain all purpose. But one has to chant with enthusiasm and with attention. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Ram,
Ram.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any questions?
आणि ऑनलाईन